So here I am at the Parliament House. Last week I was calling it the old Parliament House, but we've never been here before. Prior to that, there apparently was an old Parliament from, I don't know, 100 years ago or whatever, which is a different building. And anyway, there is Fox/Sky News here with a big camera. Obviously they were set up to, get some interesting footage about the protest. There aren't many people here. A lot of the people that were here last week are here again. There's more people over there, but last week it wasn't raining and there was probably 4 times as many people, so 60, maybe even 80 people. And now people are dispersing a little bit because of the rain. Presumably the police might have been planning on doing an arrest and inform Sky News, hey, get your cameras ready. If there were bad police, they might have said, hey, we're going to arrest someone that's been peaceful. And then from there, people might get agitated, then film the agitators or agitated people, and then, blame the victims. Sometimes that does happen. There's someone. Hello. There's my little helper. He's got my little bag with my legal stuff in it, like move on directions and other interesting laws that can be used if the police go to arrest people, if they go to reason with people, instead of just, dump them in a paddy wagon. So because a lot of people are people that were here last week, then it's probably not that exciting to just go around interviewing everyone. Hopefully a lot more people do come. You can see there's no police here so far. Yeah?
Why are we going to the lagoon?
And anyway, so there's also a botanical garden here. And some markets are often down there, but not at the moment. So looks like more people are coming now. And there are some other people coming via the train that I know about, but I'll do another live video when things get more interesting, if they get more interesting. Thank you, bye. I'll just show me. Whee! I gelled my hair back too, so it doesn't look so messy. Try and grow my hair a bit longer to cover my bald patch, but shh, don't tell everyone. But then it just looks all frizzy and whatever in the meantime before it gets long enough to weigh itself down. I'll just quickly go over here too because it's something interesting. Oops, didn't mean to reverse the camera around. Wonder what these things do. Whoa. Weird effects. So as you can see over here it says Speaker's Corner. And there's a Queensland Parliament sign. Speaker's Corner. And it says celebrating 150 years of Parliament in Queensland, Speaker's Corner, dedicated to the Honourable John Mickle MP, Speaker of the Legislative Assembly of Queensland, 22nd of May 2010. It says, I would urge on honourable members mutual forbearance and self-control and the necessity of not taking exception to words and expressions which might bear a very different interpretation to that which at the time they might be disposed to attach to them. And then it says Honourable Gilbert Elliott, CMG, MLA, first Speaker of the Legislative Assembly of Queensland, from Speaker Elliott's first speech delivered on 22nd of May 1860, and it's also got 150 years of the Queensland Parliament. So, yeah, so I am actually live at the moment. Sorry. So I'm just saying what Speaker's Corner actually is. So in the UK, I think it's Hyde Park from memory, there's a place called Speaker's Corner. It's supposedly the only place within Britain besides Parliament where people have absolute freedom of speech, even though I'm sure that's been curtailed at the moment, and I'm sure people get you know, observed by the police when they're, you know, you might have lots of extremist Muslims or whatever saying, hey, take over Britain or something like that. So I'm sure at least notes get taken as to who's saying what and whatever. But anyway, so that is a very important feature of democracy or representative government, responsible government, that people do have the right to free speech, and that's why people, you know, it would be good if people did go out and protest more often. So there's some more people coming now, some late arrivals. But anyway, so does Speaker's Corner in Brisbane outside the Parliament House mean that we have absolute freedom of speech here? Maybe. Anyway, so the cameraman's gone. Things weren't so exciting. No police to arrest people. But, you know, it'd be interesting to see how many others go out and protest today and exercise their right to freedom of speech, you know, the implied right to political communication, the right to political liberty. You know? So it doesn't have to be all that scary. Look, there's little kids there. Here's a little kid. Woo. Carry my bag for me, kindly enough. Want to say hello, Evelina?
Hi.
Woo. You're on camera. You're on TV. What are you going to say when you're on TV?
I don't know.
What are you going to say if police annoy you, and if I say that they can't speak to you and they keep speaking to you? You're going to say, I don't speak to tyrants. Give it a crack. Have a go. Try and
I don't speak to tyrants.
Yeah. But obviously things aren't happening at the moment. Maybe they'll happen later on. People are also protected by live video, so that's helpful. Anyway, cheerio. Woo! I have to stop this now. How do I stop it from going? G'day everyone. So some police have just come on little segways. They're just parking them. It'll be interesting to see if anything happens. And people are going over to Speaker's Corner. Would have been interesting if the cameraman from the news was already out, ready to film. That would be interesting since he's been waiting in his car. But if he got a tip off the police were going there to get ready to film, and you know, be interesting to see what happens. Here goes the sign. It's coming over. Let's see if they try and issue a invalid move on direction. They're going on a Segway. See the little motorbike thing? Like a motorbike, it's got two wheels. It's got a motor. So is it really a motorbike? Even though the wheels are sideways. So, you know, some little kids here. Nice family gathering. Interesting to see what happens. The police are sort of milling about at the moment. Security's out the front of Parliament as well all of a sudden, so something might be going to kick off. Are they going to start arresting people, picking on people so that people react or not? I wonder.
I'm back. What do I say again?
So, I don't speak to tyrants. You don't have my consent. The cameraman's not out, which is surprising, because all of a sudden the security arrived. Police are going, and a lady's going saying she's exercising. That's what the Parliament building looks like. Wonder if they actually have an upper house in the building itself. I forget when I read what year it was built. So if it was after 1922, here you go, maybe this sign will say when it was built. But if it was after 1922, it might not have an upper house. So, what's it say? The site for Government House was chosen in 1855 and then built between 1860 and 1862 to the design of colonial architect Charles Tiffin. In 1860, funding of £10,000 was allocated by the new Parliament of Queensland. Governor Bowen, interesting hearing what's being said. The police officer said they're all separate, so that's interesting. So obviously they're trying to use the invalid COVID directions, but they're waiting for people to congregate. But maybe the police officer's just been reasonable, so that's helpful. You know, they're doing their job, so to speak, but they're only allowed to do their job that is actually allowed.
Excellent.
So, where is it up to? Governor Bowen, his family and suite took up residence in May 1862, the first of 11 governors to reside in the house. Government House provided family accommodation, public reception areas and government offices for the Governor of Queensland. There have been many alterations and additions to the building throughout its history. In 1895, the house was completely redecorated. Government House was extended with a billiard room in a northern corner of the building in 1899. As part of Queensland's 50th anniversary in 1909, the Queensland government controversially gifted Government House to the University of Queensland as its foundation building and moved the Governor to a temporary residence in February 1910. The government selected and signed a 3-year lease for Fernberg in Paddington, still the official Governor's residence. Police are going now. And when Governor McGregor passed through the gates for the last time on 6 June, the house immediately became known as Old Government House. In 1973, the National Trust of Queensland moved into the building and remained in residence until 2003, when they moved into the old immigration depot, now National Trust House. Old Government House now sits among the grounds of the Queensland University of Technology, QUT. In 2009, the Queensland Government granted QUT custodianship of the building for 99 years. So that's for Old Government House. So where's the Governor go now? It's like Old Government House, I think he's over there somewhere. Woo! And then with Parliament House, oh gee, camera's reversed, sorry. Yeah, so there's more than 10 people here, but that's alright. Sorry, I didn't realise the camera was facing me and I'm just being shone in the eyes and the phone's not very bright. So, Parliament House on 6 June 1859, Queen Victoria approved the creation of a new colony to be called Queensland. On 10 December of the same year, Sir George Ferguson Bowen arrived in Brisbane as the new colony's governor and officially proclaimed it as, the colony of Queensland. From December 1859 to April 1860, I should say, governed by an sorry about the phone call. What's up to? Queensland Parliament met for the first time on 22 May 1860 in an old convict barracks in Queen Street, roughly opposite the site of the current Myer Centre. The building of the official Parliament House started in 1864 and the first stage of the building was completed in 1868. Work continued on extending the building until its completion in 1889. The Aldine History of Queensland boasted in 1888 that the Parliament buildings occupying a portion of the government grounds south of the Botanical Gardens, there's a Botanical Gardens, are superior to those of any of the Australian group. In 1979, a new parliamentary annex was built, and restoration of Parliament House began. During the restoration, the zinc roof was replaced with copper and a porte cochere added. So I guess that must be like a little towery thing, but as you can see, it's old copper, it's gone green, and I don't know exactly what where was it? Porte cochere is, it sounds French. Here's some tall buildings around, look at the scenery. The guards at the Parliament are still out, the security guards. Some people walking past. Oh, cool feather. That looks so fluffy.
We're all going for a walk and back.
Okay, cool. Okay. What are you all up to? Is anyone else going to the protest today? I'm trying to reverse the camera now, it won't do it. Tap, tap. There we go. Is anyone else going to protest today? Like I said, most of the people that are here this week, there's a feather, were here last week, probably, or maybe half. So I won't be interviewing everyone like I did last week because there's not much point. People are going for a walk. Yep. Okay, cool. I'll go for a walk then. You want to hold this quickly and I do my shoes up?
Okay.
Just aim it at the building. You're live on the camera. Like you're live on internet. Not too bad. How are you this week?
I think you're very generous for your very generous video post. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, that's all right.
That's fine, you know. I'm cool with it. I'm happy. I'm not hiding at home from viruses, cops or anything else.
You're going for a walk? Apparently they're walking
Well, the
somewhere.
bus stop's down that way anyway. When they're finished, I'll just go home.
Okay.
But I was definitely going to be here.
Yeah.
I brought my red duster in too. We might catch that later.
No worries. Yeah, come on, darling. We'll go for a walk.
I actually wanted to have a chat with you about that.
Yeah, so you know we are live on a
Yeah.
thing if you want me to stop it,
Later.
if you want to have a chat.
No. Well, no, I'm just saying you do what you're doing. I don't want to interrupt that.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, you know, you might have something interesting to say or whatever.
Well, I'm just wondering,
But-
you commented on the Common Law Court last week and
Yeah.
you didn't actually necessarily endorse that.
Yeah.
So I'm just a bit curious. I haven't seen any of your posts on it.
Yeah, so if you look up, there's a video called TINLA 19,
19.
and it covers it. So basically, my take on the Common Law Court, and just reverse the camera again, is that they have characters including Lord Alex, and what's he a lord of, as I've said. I think that it's not a lord of anything.
Did he buy that square foot of land in Scotland?
Yeah, exactly, you can buy a square foot of land.
I dug into that a couple of weeks ago. Apparently that's a fundraiser to keep the castle going.
Yeah,
It's not a scam. Anyone that inquires into it, that's
yeah,
what they're told.
yeah. So they put very clearly that, hey, look, this is for entertainment purposes only. You can also buy a plot of land on the moon. You can buy
That's right, you can too.
you can buy a star, but it's not really buying it. It just says this is for entertainment purposes.
Not fake serious.
Yeah,
That's
and
a big one.
yeah. But anyway, so what's Alex a lord of? He comments on my YouTube channel for the video, which is fair enough, but he doesn't disclose that he is Lord Alex under the name of Renaissance Entertainment. And again, you know, if it is him, which I believe it is, then he's misleading people on that as well, saying basically, oh, what do you mean that they are blah blah blah? And then I corrected him, said, oh, don't you mean we, as in because he's a part of the organisation, the Common Law Court. And anyway, so he didn't answer that. I also said, what are you a lord of? Did you buy, you know, a metre of land in Scotland or whatever? And he didn't answer, but then he wrote another comment, just ignoring what I said. You also have Dr. Barry. What's he a doctor of? Did he pay like $50 for a fake university?
Degree mill.
Yeah, or whatever. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. How many doctors actually call themselves doctor and then their first name? Am I Dr. Arjay? You know, you go to a medical doctor, is that Dr., you know, Peter or Dr. Smith, usually. Also, with the common law courts, without trying to just repeat everything I put in other video,
Sure.
because otherwise it's a bit boring for whoever's watching. Yeah, but they sell cards that they claim get you out of the law, contracts you out of the law, basically. So sure, they can sell little cards, and Dr. Barry can have on his channel where it says, push the button, where it says for entertainment, education, fun, or whatever it says. But basically the problem is that with their cards, they're claiming that if you have this card that you don't have to follow the law, or that the law no longer applies to you because you're in a different jurisdiction, blah blah blah, which is called contracting out of the law, which you can't do for most things. So that's a generalization, because of course there are certain things you can contract out of. So you might make a contract with someone for provision of a service, and there might be provisions, say within the Australian consumer law, that says, hey look, you can give up your rights for XYZ if you want. There's another police car. What's that? Policing, road policing commands, road safety, everybody, every day. Anyway, so the problem is that they are making false statements, which is, hey look, you buy this card and then you can contract out of the law.
I haven't bought a card, by the way.
You haven't?
No, I haven't.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't buy one personally.
No.
But so they're making a false statement, hoping that someone relies on that, and then they do rely on it by buying the card, and they've obtained that money fraudulently, therefore, I would argue and submit. Anyway, so that's my take on the common law court, without going into TINLA marching.
I'm not.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean that I'm right.
I'm
It's just,
not pro this or anti that.
Yeah.
But, it's a bit of a journey,
yeah,
on the way back to our constitutional rights.
yeah.
And we've got to take that journey, and it's probably going to be a large learning curve for most of us.
Yeah, and then another problem is when you have things like the so-called common law court, that they do make some valid actual points, but they basically discredit what they are saying. Yeah, walk quickly. You've got 10 seconds to get across. Whee! More police. Oh, there's a police station, that's why. Wonder if Pelham's going to get arrested. Get the camera ready. So I have to go to this police station later anyway to put in for a formal protest. So they're just getting some photos near a police station saying, look, you can protest. Cute little baby. Where there's a risk, there must be a choice. Hello. Oh, you can fit. Watch out. A little baby can get past. Hello. You're cute.
Come on, Caesar, you want to be on it? Oh, I'm there.
So this is where I have to go later to lodge an official protest application for an authorised protest. You want to go in there? Get a photo? You can go there.
Come on, kids, get in here. You want to take down the front row? You want to be in the front row?
Yeah, okay. I'll just stop now and I'll take some pictures. Bye. So, people have gone exercising. They walked to the clock tower, King George Square. Want to show your sign? Want to show your sign? What's your sign say? Show your sign. It's we the people, not you the politicians. I do not consent. New World Order. So someone gave us a sign, so Evelina's got something to carry. And there's vaccines, the more you know, as in saying no. We've got a cool building here, clock tower. You can go in that clock tower and do a tour. We've got some really cool statues there. Looks like, I don't know, Jesus or something, and it's probably Zeus. And a bull, dude with a spear, a moustache, some horsey, well, one horse, kangaroos. So, not much is happening, but at least there's more people walking past here. And people are also exercising too. So it's probably a 3 kilometre round trip to walk there and back. Over there you got a cool red church. And you know, behind there's a College of Law as well. We've got some cool statues. It's King George on his horsey, big lion. Do you want to go look at the lion?
Yeah.
Okay, go look. For some reason there's a rainbow flag. I don't think that's an official government flag. Which, you know, you shouldn't have government doing political stuff. Yeah, had the, what was the name, Banerjee court case too. Yeah, pity someone's got their rubbish there. It's cool though, isn't it? That represents Britain. And then you got some flags over there. Don't know what the sea looking one with pretzels on it is. You got the state flag of Queensland and the so-called blue federal ensign, modified with 7 stars or 7 points for the Federation star, and not having 9-pointed and 6-pointed stars. In the old flags they had basically different size stars or different amount of points to show the relative brightness of the Southern Cross. Want to get a picture? Hold up your sign. You know, we've got a small little turnout, but things get bigger and bigger. Hopefully next week protests might be a lot bigger, especially if I get an authorised protest going with certain protections, and then I can advertise it properly. Yeah, want to go in a picture? Just noticed your shirt. Good saying. Freedom isn't quiet. Squeezing, squeezing. Whee!
Come on, Caesar, come the other side, mate. Got it. I'm good. Yeah, okay. God bless you all.
Can you go look at the statue, darling? There's a big kangaroo. It's like full size, Western red, or whatever. It'll be 2 meters tall. So it's not the biggest one, but still there's some people sitting down and
Baby kangaroo.
oh, little baby. Oh wow. His little legs sticking out backwards. Man, what else is there? There's a lady with a jolly swagman riding his horse, or stockman, cowboy, whatever you call him. There's George V, 1910 to 1936. Back when kings were, you know, active participants in an army, or maybe not quite, but active participants in parades of the army. So there's 2 lions there, see?
Yeah.
Let me see what else is happening. That looks weird, the light poster looks a bit like a tree. Get it. Then we go over here. We got Little John practicing on his bow stick. We need Pelham. You look like Little John practicing on your bow stick. We need Robin Hood, and he'll say, "I'll fight you. I want to cross the bridge."
And then I'm sitting there spinning it like this, right? And he comes and goes,
You just all of a sudden see a police officer running the camera to where your stick is twiddling just so he gets hit. Oh, he just hit me. Break his legs.
perfect crime.
Besides, it's live on Facebook. Anyway, so I'll stop the video again until, you know, maybe I see police or something. Cheerio. G'day everyone, just a quick little video. Basically on the 24th of May, so next Sunday, I'm intending on holding an authorised protest. So that is one where you go through the police, blah blah blah, in Brisbane, and it will be basically end the lockout or end the lockdown protest, as well as a political rally for Reset Parliament. And you know, there's various other topics that can be protested about, of course, but it will be interesting to see the difference between an authorised protest, which I can start actually advertising. I've already put in the 2-page form with the police, and you know, it was just fill out a couple of pages, go to the police station in Brisbane and lodge it, and then basically the lady just accepted it and said I'll pass it on to events. Apparently they must get, you know, such forms all the time, so that's under the Authorised Assembly Act or whatever. That does come with certain benefits, having an authorised assembly, such as, you know, in Victoria last week, I haven't checked this week what happened, but there were 10 arrests and 4 in Western Australia, in Perth, as an example, whereas, you know, with an authorised protest that can't happen. Of course, people have to behave, and, you know, people carrying on like wallies won't be tolerated, and, you know, we'll go out of our way to get the police to arrest those people, because for one, they could be agents provocateur, undercover police or whatever, potentially, you know, if they're bored and trying to discredit us, basically, as people protesting the lockdowns and whatnot. So anyway, I'll make a Facebook event and start inviting people, see what interest there is, and, you know, people can do these in every state and territory that has authorised protests or authorised assemblies. Otherwise, you know, you can just protest anyway, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Okay, thank you, bye. I'll just quickly say before I push a button, the Brisbane one today was fine. There were no arrests, of course. Some of you would have seen a live stream footage where there were a couple of police officers come up on their segways, and then one was on the phone and just basically said, oh, they're keeping their distance. I heard that little bit, and then buggered off. They also had security from the Parliament come out at the same time, and there was a camera crew from Sky News, Fox Sports that also set on there, so, you know, presumably it's got the same head company, and, you know, it was fine. We then went walking down to the Queen Street Mall and King George Square and returned, and things were fine. Okay, I hope you're all having a lovely evening. Let me know in, you know, private messages, personal messages, whatever to call it, and also in comments, and I can respond to comments for a while because I have to wait for the train. So thank you, bye.